trust, and I go to farmer's point of view in this food chain. My background is from the beginning of 90s. I participated in the precision farming research group, and already there I was kind of I wondered that how farmers can really cope with this data. That was the time when GPS was new, and this geographic data was very complicated for farmers to cope with. And now when we are talking about smart farming and digital agriculture, I think my worry is not gone away, but it has kind of multiplied. And first, I have to ask how many of you have an idea what my data is about? You heard? Okay, but now I know that you know what blockchain is. I trusted that Christopher explains that. Okay, then I start about explaining my data. It's actually movement. It's fairly new. It's global. It is that Finnish and Nordic researchers have been very active in it. This year, in the end of August, beginning of September, there was the second My Data conference. Last year, the conference had 300 participants. This year, 700 all over the world. And this is at the moment movement, but it also provides framework, it provides infrastructure, and it provides model how human-centric model how data should be handled and managed. My data approach aims at strengthening digital human rights while opening new opportunities for businesses to develop innovative personal data based on services built on mutual trust. And somehow this sounds for me something similar to what farmers are facing at the moment. So that was why I thought, okay, we have to have a look what they offer, what this movement offers, and if we can somehow benchmark all such things. My data declaration is a new one. It's kind of work in process, and it's available. It pretty much clarifies okay, what these people think. And principles concentrate on human-centric control, privacy of data, usable data, and open business environment. This human-centric control includes matters that individuals are active actors, empowered actors, not just passive targets, and they use data in managing their lives. And individuals have rights and practical means to manage data and privacy. And when it comes to usable data, there we have the key issue is that the personal data is technically easily accessible, and they think that, or my data movement thinks that this is a way to convert data from closed silos into an important reusable resource. And it can be used to create new services, which help individuals to manage their lives, but also provides services to new entrepreneurs, possibilities to create new business models, and economic growth, and all good in society. And then the business environment is important, because what the fuss about data, it's all about business. The data flow needs some kind of business somewhere. And They also talk about decentralized management of personal data. And they think that these methods and frameworks, they improve interoperability. And also we know that this, in Europe we have this general data protection regulation coming, so maybe this is also a tool of how enterprises companies can tackle that challenge. And also it allows individuals to change service providers without procuring data logins. And what personal data versus my data. So there are a lot of personal data collected from us all over, but only part of it can be considered as my data. And now this general data protection regulation pretty much it talks about company data collected from individuals in companies. And what is here this is kind of minimum level of my data. If there's a kind of hierarchy where the rights start. And everything that comes here, these last three, is the levels of my data that we're talking about. And now what comes from personal data in GDPR is that is the kind of tickling causing issue for companies that is really individuals should be possible to take the information and give it to third parties. And also this possibility to get forgotten and erase data that concerns you. And this GDPR is a kind of very good backbone and help to this My Data movement now, because they are really going to same direction. And this is already next May when this comes to power, this regulation. But what comes to farm data, I kind of try to illustrate what it is. So now this whole circle sphere describes now farm data. And there are also farm data, but also some of the like public data or public registers have some kind of cutting or overlapping areas of farm data. Then technology providers, service providers, machine manufacturers, they have overlapping data with farmers' farms. But we have also the my data inside, farm personal data or employees' data. And these all have to be tackled. And I do not know how the portions really are. I haven't got that far in this research, but probably they are different depending on the farm and the system, how heavily it's run, and what is the business model in the farm. And what is here now, what we should pay attention to and what is interesting is, of course, these overlapping areas. There where the debate has to go. But we shouldn't be afraid of this. This could be really a good way to make a difference to solve the problems. And if we compare that what the My Data movement is talking about at the moment, I participate in this latest conference, and these are the topics among all that they talk about. Also this informed consent, that how a person, or in this case farmer, know what he is really agreeing with. Sometimes that the text is too jargon, can't really understand it, or there's too much of it. And this is one of the issues that we really have to make sure that all parties understand what we are agreeing. And then there's also a concept of our data. The data that is not my data, it's public, but I share to community for common good, like farmers networks or some, and that is normally aggregated data already. And then about privacy and openness, that is the line is there a little blurred, that how it really goes. And there are different anonymization, pseudonymization, aggregation methods, but that was also a topic that it can be, you can break it. It's just a matter of time if someone wants to break anonymity. And then this GDPR, semantics, business ecosystems, how to use these distributed ledger technologies, big data, and then sharing data to parties that may cause harm to you. And I think these are pretty much relevant for farming and farm data, what my data people talk about. But as I said, now we should just dive in and really have collaboration, good discussions, and make it to win-win situations to everyone. Because I think it is farmers' benefit if the data is producing can be used in many ways. And consumers, there was research that why consumers were willing to share their data. One very important matter was that if the data was used to make good for other people. So some of us are very good people, and we want to share if we think that that benefits the community or something. So we just have to find the balance, and this is very complex business area. So there's no one solution how to solve. So we have to be very flexible and I think awareness is the key here. We understand what we are doing. Some good work has been done already. I think these are pretty good. These are from the United States. Kind of openings and discussions about these matters. They pretty much discuss the same issues as my data. And I think at least this is the good point to grab on these and start elaborating. But then, trust. Now I talk about the trust of the information if I share. How can I rely on that the agreement is followed if I make consent agreement or informed consent about the agreement, and how I know that it's not manipulated, or when I receive and use of the data it's legal and original. And so this idea of using blockchain was one of the things that how to trace the data. And this is, we haven't tried this in practice, but this was the idea how to combine these two. This is the idea of data model, my data model, and the my data operator. There's an operator like teleoperators in my data model, and their task is to work as a concept manager. And this is the place where the user can give permission to this data source to keep data here. And the data source in this case is farm data. It can be stored in aggregator model, some platform, it can be Fusua API somewhere, doesn't matter, but it is the resource, but it has to be described so that there's this hash, and then resource provider ID, user URL, data block, it can be encrypted, public, open, we need ontology here between, and that is something we have taught here yesterday and today. And then to build the trust and the traceability to data is then this blockchain model, which have block ID, timestamp, resource owner ID, public key, resource user ID, resource URL. And now this data model and content management then gives the rules here how this blockchain agreements are done. So this picture is done by my colleague Marko Koistinen, and he tried to make it so simple that I can understand it, explain it to you. So this is not tracing your products, this is just tracing the information. Okay, but this works when for this inside the framework, if we all are willing to follow the rules and willing to be good persons in the business. But what about if there's criminal actions? Behind my back, they just keep the data out. Data is easy to copy and to give out. Then maybe the solution is that you really prioritize your data somehow, or put it in order that which data is really critical, intimate data that can't be leaked anywhere. And then you just have to collaborate with those business partners who can solve the data policy, and it can be somehow transparent. You really trust. So you limit the data to sharing of this kind of data. And the rest of the data in different privacy kind of levels, you can just put it openly to use for everyone. Then if someone is using the data to harm you, there are also people who are working for you. So to have some kind of power balance to be achieved. So this is anything that this is pretty much still idea, but I see that we should really utilize this change that is happening due to GDPR and along my data movement, and utilize those generic things for policy solutions, techniques, ways of implementing things. And what will happen when this personal data GDPR comes on power? We all are more aware of what is right and what is wrong, and I think it must reflect to other businesses too. So this is very good. This is probably very, very long and gradually happening movement and development, but we just have to dive in and be aware of this, and this is a place where we can go a long way and achieve something with cooperation techniques altogether. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa.